Welcome to the Hip Hop Hustle podcast. We are back for another week, and I love episodes like this because we have a returning guest, the one and only Maddi Madd. Was such a good time. It was episode 118 that we caught up originally, so it's been over 12 months, and we're catching up again. He just released another project, Success 3, obviously the trilogy album. But for those who haven't heard the other Success albums, they came out 21 and 2017. So it's been a journey to get here. It's almost close to a decade of your life story. But man, absolute pleasure to have you on the show. And you also released Bron James, the single, this year as well.
Yes. You know what? It's a pleasure to be here. I'm always gonna come through the hip hop hustle, man. I love and I admire what you're doing with this platform.
Well, I appreciate it, man. And it wouldn't be possible with people like you. So I'm always grateful to have your time and to chop it up with you. But I'm interested because like you've now done three albums in the trilogy. Are you thinking of moving on and doing something new, or are you going to continue? Is it just going to be Success 4, 5, 6?
Man, I've been thinking about it. I've been thinking about it going away from the Success because it's other things that I want to branch off into. But this Success series is so important because it's really like a book. It's like a book, and if I stop doing it now, it's going to leave out too many chapters. You know, so I can't. I have to finish this book, and Rakim want me to get to at least 7. At least 7, so he can get on the album. You know, he wanted, you know, he's a guy like myself, so he wanna hop on the 7th installment of the Success series. But I might get slick. I might just on Success 4 just do a song called 7 and put Rakim on it.
Well, to be fair, I think that's a good idea. I mean, I don't see how getting Rakim, you can do on both Success 4 and track Success 7, and then on Success 7 again.
Right, absolutely, man. He's a legend, man. I'm just looking forward to working with him. His schedule has been packed, you know, Hip Hop 50 and everything going on. So I really wanted him to make this to make Success 3, but I just couldn't wait. I couldn't wait no longer. You know, I had to finish it up and get it out.
Well, how is it for veterans these days in terms of, because I feel like, you know, there's this interesting mix in hip hop right now where it's like, you know, veterans they still have a crowd, they still have a huge fan following. And then you've obviously got new wave hip hop artists. Like, do you almost just separate now in terms of like your genres where you're like, hey, I'm kind of just doing my thing. The new guys are on their own come up, they're doing their own techniques, and I'm kind of just naturally continuing to progress?
Yes, because you know what? It's for guys like myself who've been releasing music from the physical period onto the digital period. It's a slow rebuild of a fan base. It's a slow rebuild. It's not instant. You know, it's not like you can just put out music and go right to the fans like you used to be able to do with CDs. With CDs, you know, I used to go stand on the corner in Chicago and in Detroit and LA and New York and sell my music to people who, you know, only people who wanted to hear it would buy it. You know, so that's when I was first starting out. I was trying to get my name out there. So I used to go out there, you know, reach out and communicate with the fans personally. You know what I'm saying? But now it's so different because now, in order to find your fan base, there is a lot of digital work, a digital marketing work that needs to go into it. As far as ads, I'm in Akron, Ohio, so people don't know how to act here. So people crazy. So basically, it's a slow rebuild. If you don't have a few 100,000 to throw into marketing and promotion, reaching out and getting another fan base right now is so difficult. Right now, major labels like Universal, Sony, they're all having these meetings and they're all sitting around talking about it's so hard to break artists. They don't know how to break artists these days. Like, they don't have a clue. And so that's because it's so this internet and social media and this quick fix type of song fan base that's out here, this hip hop, these are the most probably the most unpredictable hip hop fans that I've encountered because it's not just me, it's a lot of people. Like certain artists that used to have crazy fan base in the early 2000s or mid 2000s, now they can't even sell out a show. They have to cancel shows, you know? And I was talking to my manager, Charlucci, the other day, and we was talking about popularity trumps talent now. And that's I never thought that I would say that about hip hop because usually it's the people that can spit, it's the people who got the fans. Yo, if you got lyrics, you got subject matter, if somebody could turn your album on and it gives them an experience, then you were somebody. Now, no, nobody cares about having an experience. They just want that quick fix. Oh yeah, this song makes me want to pop a pill. This song makes me want to twerk. This song makes me, you know, want to smoke some weed or a drill or something like that. It's not about the experience and the music and the art form no more. It's about these quick fixes, these quick dopamine fixes that the fans want. And I'll give you an example. And I don't like to talk down on people who doing what they're doing because they feeding their family. So I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to say is, Sexy Red. Me and my manager, Luch, was talking about Sexy Red the other day. We was like, Sexy Red wouldn't even existed, you know, a few years ago. Like not recently, but let's just talk about trans from '99 to about 2006. It would have been hard for that to even exist because not only is it not lyrical, but it's you got to get my nephew on my other phone because now I don't know why, but but not only is it not lyrical, but it's super ratchet. It's super ratchet. I think that she just sat back and was like, you know what? I'm gonna be the most ratchet female rapper out. So I'm gonna say the most disgusting and degrading things that I can say and not care. I'm just gonna say this is who I am. Talking about you got an STD and it just don't get no more dirty than that. Like, so I just think that either that's a great marketing strategy that she's implementing right now, that she's using right now, or either way, it's going to have a negative impact. But I was telling my manager, I said, listen, we can't blame Sexy Red. And if any Sexy Red fans out there, don't get mad at me because I'm not trying to talk down on that sister. I'm saying you can't blame Sexy Red when she can go do a show and there's 1,000 people in the audience that love it. You can't blame her. We got to start looking at it ourselves, looking at society like, okay, are we a society that just love the most ratchet and disgusting music possible? That's just a question we got to ask ourselves.
Yeah, because I've been thinking about this as well and whose job it is, because it's like the fans create the hype, but the artist creates the music. So it's like hand in hand. I mean, at the end of the day, the weird thing is that like it's popular now, but I look at all this music and I wonder if it's going to be popular in. Sorry, man. I wonder if it's going to be popular. Oh, I'm dying. Oh, I wonder. It's like, you know, the music company. They don't want me to say this, so they're making me sneeze. But I wonder if it's going to be popular in 5-10 years. Like, I wonder how we're going to look back on this era of music, because I feel like there's no generational artist. Like, it's not coming up that much. Like, we got people like hip hop artists that are still using elements of hip hop, like your Kendricks, your J. Cole. I mean, and then you've got people like Drake who are like generational artists. But I'm like looking outside of that, and does anyone else really fit the mix of like a generational artist that has a long legacy that people will go back and go, look at that body of work. It holds up over time.
Yes.
20 years ago.
And that's a great question. And the thing is, these artists are not built to last. It's the quick fix. It's just a quick fix type of thing. Like Lil Wayne said, these artists' careers is fast as Batmobiles. Like we're not going to even think about them or know them or remember them tomorrow. Like, and they don't care. They're just trying to strike when the iron is hot, get their money right now, and they're going to fade away and be gone. Now there are a lot of generational artists and a lot of respected bodies of work that's just not getting the light. It's not getting the light. People don't know it exists. People don't know it's there. So I don't know what we're going to have to do as far as promotion and marketing when it comes to certain type of artists. I think it's going to take bigger artists to promote the artists that are in their lane that they respect and be like, you know what? Let me bring this guy along, put him on the track. Then maybe my fans can gravitate towards what he's doing. There's a lot of generational works. Like, I think Success 3 is the best work that I've done in the Success series. Now, people may argue, a lot of people that know me may argue with that fact, but I think it's the best because it finished the sentence. Success 1, I came with that, and that was the statement. That was raw. Success 2, there was a lot of different type of serious subject matter on Success 2. Now we got Success 3 that has serious subject matter, but it's personal. So I feel like there's a lot of artists, and I'm going to include myself in that just don't get to shine because record labels, for one, aren't putting marketing money behind lyrics and songs and subject matter anymore. That's why there's only a few. That's why we can name them all on one hand that exist right now today. But it's a big problem. And here's the bigger problem. It's not just the music exists, but you just have to go out and find it yourself because no label is putting it in your face. So you have to go find it yourself. Now, the biggest issue is the artists that can deliver these timeless classics. They're not motivated to deliver timeless classics because we're not making no money from streams. We're not making anything. I mean, it's criminal. The streaming game right now, those DSPs are robbing music. And that's what really what the strike is about in Hollywood right now. That's what the strike is about. The residual checks that these artists get because a lot of these shows go straight to streaming services. And you see a guy who's regular on a TV show and he getting a residual check for $60. You know, and it's like that for music too. But for some reason, music isn't unified. We don't have a union to where every artist in the world can be like, you know what? We're not putting out nothing else until y'all fix this and until y'all pay us more money. Well, we don't have the ability to come together like that. But we should.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. No one, for one, hip hop is a competitive sport. Music is competitive. It's a competitive art form. And a lot of artists will let petty differences or just competition would not even allow them to be like, you know what, let's lock arms, let's become one, and because it's us against them. If we did that, we'll be better off. But as soon as we do that, there's going to be plenty of those quick fix artists that's going to pop up with a TikTok dance or something, and they're going to be like, man, I don't care about no union, I don't care about none of that, I just want to be famous, But I don't think we have the ability to come together. I just don't. I hope we can find it, but right now I just don't see it.
Well, it reminds me of a quote: "The enemy of my enemy is my friend."
Facts.
And so, I don't know. I think you're right. There's so many elements with this, and as you said, the people who are getting hot and making money, I would do exactly the same thing. Like everyone would. If you're young, you've never had the opportunity for this money, let alone to be able to have the money in your life. You all of a sudden see, I can change my life, I can change my family's life, I can live a life that I've always dreamt about. whether it's really as good as you think it is, they're all going to jump on that opportunity and they essentially take care of themselves for the rest of their lives potentially. So they're all going
Right.
to do it. And I think that's the real problem is that, like, when you have people who are looking like that, they're always going to jump on top of each other to get the opportunity. It's like everyone's clamoring for it. And then, as you said, they just strike while the iron is hot. Then it's gone. And they're like, well, at least I had it.
Absolutely. And it's just like that. I heard a story recently about Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey went behind Bernie Mac's back to try to get a role that Bernie Mac had just got. And he was going back, I guess, talking to the people at the studio or whatever, like, no, I'll be a better fit. And it's that type of cutthroat mentality that's in hip hop, that's embedded in hip hop. But the the record labels are just not doing enough because record labels are pretty much downsized to like probably two. Oh, damn train is coming by. Two departments. So it's like you have like a social media department, and you have which social media department is now a part of the marketing department, and that's pretty much it. And then accounting, but record labels aren't. They don't have artist development. They don't have the tools, and right now they're so stumped. They don't even know how to break an artist, and they're trying everything. I mean everything. And now TikTok right now has changed in the TikTok is changing so fast because of a year ago, TikTok was more content than it was influencers. Now everybody's selling something. Everybody's page is a commercial. Hey, try this on TikTok website. Oh, try this or try this, or try this. Everybody's selling something instead of talking about something, instead of doing something. And then you have people who create content, but it's so much now. It's just going to be oversaturated. Everybody's page is turning into a commercial.
Yeah. But I think, I try to think about this and I'm like, there is a point where that doesn't work. There is a point where everyone's like, you know what? This kind of shit, like, it sucks. Like, I don't want to watch, like, I don't like being sold to. I mean, it used to be the day, 30 years ago where cold calling was way easier. People used to get scammed way more than they do now. Salespeople used to make more calls and they were more acceptable. Whereas right now, if I get a call and it's someone trying to sell me something, I'm like, get the fuck out. It's only natural evolution that we're going to be able to pick it better on TikTok, on Reels, on wherever the hell. But like, I don't know. I think no one really has an answer. And some people are just like utilizing it better to get some success off it. But like, I think everyone doesn't know where the algorithm is going. No one knows what this is going to mean. And now we've got AI and everyone's like, well, what does this actually mean for music? The scary thing is that, like, you've released enough music now for someone to be able to use your likeness and create music like you. I've probably got enough hours of me talking for someone to take my voice and do the same thing.
Absolutely. And we have to be protected. If somebody's using my NIL, using my name and likeness, then I should get paid. And there's no way around it. I don't care if it's a computer or what it is. If you use my name and likeness, I should get paid. And it has to be some way to regulate. Right now, it's the wild, wild west. They're not really regulating anything when it comes to this AI thing. And this AI thing is just it's not gonna it's gonna hurt us more than it's gonna help us, because it's bad enough that people don't already think for themselves, but now you got something that can actually think for you, and you can use it in your everyday life. It's just gonna continue to dumb down society. As we already dumb as hell. Like, society is, man. People right now, man. I was in the hood the other day. This dude told me, he was like, "Yo, man, I love that song you did, Black God, man. I just don't know what you was talking about." And I was just like, he was like, "Man, your words was too big." And I was just thinking to myself, like, I can understand that, hearing that from one person. But then I started remembering when I released that album, how many times I heard it. I was like, damn. Like society, you know what? I must have a collegiate fan base out there somewhere, or some pretty intelligent people out there somewhere that's waiting to hear my music. Because right now, I don't have them. I don't have them. I'm still searching for my fan base. I sold over 150,000 records on my first album, and you have to look at it. That was my first album was a long time ago, and I've been rebuilding my fan base ever since. You know, so I think that right now hip hop alone is so dumbed down. That's why the sexy reds, and that's why these DSPs can continue to rob us, and because record labels don't even know how to make money. You know what I'm saying? They don't know how to make money. And the publishing used to be where we made our money. The publishing is where we made our money. You know, I was talking to Luch the other day, and I was just like, yo, Luch, everybody praising Diddy right now for giving the publishing back. But I was like, well, it's useless now. Damn near useless. So he waited all of these years. He waited 20 something years to give the publishing back, but he's been receiving publishing checks for 20 years. Crazy in my city. So it's like 20 years of receiving the publishing that those artists could have got. Now, if he'd have gave the publishing back with the money that he made off of it too, that would have meant something. But I was just like, that was an empty gesture, you know, and it didn't fly over my head. It flew over a lot of heads because a lot of people were like, oh, that's so nice of him. He didn't have to do that. It's worth nothing now. That's like, you know, it's like giving away lint, you know, no problem. You want it here, you know? So it's, man, hip hop is in a very, very scary place right now. If you can't sell out shows, if you're not Drake, if you're not Kendrick, if you're not Ye, if you're not a lot of these people who can pack stadiums and consistently get shows, then you are going to suffer. And that's what we're doing. This is the great suffering right now in hip hop. A lot of artists are suffering.
Well, do you know what I really fear of is like the mega artists and the pricing at their shows. So like you've got people who are not in hip hop, and Taylor Swift came to Australia, and the clamoring for her tickets, they were like $2,000, and people are spending $2,000 on a ticket to go see one show. But then I'm like, but that $2,000 for a lot of people is like, that's my allotment. That's what I'm saving up for. So out of the whole 12-month calendar, I got that $2,000, and I'm going to go spend it on Taylor Swift. Or I can go see 10 shows for $200 pop a ticket, and I can see 10 shows. So the other challenge that hip hop has is that, like, pricing wise, it's like it prices out everybody else. Because if everyone is just going to see the mega acts and willing to spend a fuckload of money to go do it, then it leaves less disposable income to go see the smaller acts that are still building a fan base and, you know, purchase merch, buy CDs, whatever else you want to do as like a fan. You're just spending all that money on these mega artists, and it just sits there.
Right. See, rock has an advantage over hip hop a little bit because a lot of these rock bands start off in little bars where they pretty much just go set up and play. And if people want to hear them, they go. It's no cost, but it's a place to where they can build, got a grassroots type of action to build a fan base. But rap is different. Rap is different because we don't have just clubs that we can just show up and perform and build a fan base. And on top of that, not having the grassroots, if you don't have a name big enough to actually get you shows, like you were saying, the stars are pretty much, it's like a gravity for like a planet. They're just pulling in all of the money, and you just out there, you're just out there. You don't have enough gravity to pull fans because these people are, like you're saying, they're spending, people are making decisions. I can go on vacation or I can go see Beyonce. People are picking Beyonce. And that's because the show is going to run you. If you add it up at the end of the night, I mean, with everything, it's probably it's $3,000 at least, $3,000. So people are making like really real life decisions. There's some people that are not paying like car notes, letting rent lapse and stuff like that to go see these artists because the tickets are so high. But it's not really the artist's fault that the ticket is high. It's the people who booked them for the show, like Live Nation. Like Live Nation, you know what? I'm not gonna say nothing bad about Live Nation. I'm not gonna say nothing bad about Live Nation. I'm just gonna say these companies that hire these artists have completely inflation is not even the word. These ticket prices are ridiculous, but they have to do it in order for them to make money because the huge artists charge so much to even come perform at a arena. So who's wrong? Like it's like the pot calling the kettle black. Like everybody's guilty in this, but some artists, man, it's just like society. Society right now is rich or poor. They're doing away with the middle class, just like that in hip hop. Either you got it or you just don't. The people that are in the middle, trust me, they're not going to be in the middle for long. They teetering in this middle. They teetering in the middle, trying to keep it to where they can either try to get to the next level or they already know what's waiting down there for them. You know, it's like either you're huge or you're not. See you guys. All right, have a good one.
I think but I think what that shows is simply put, and yeah, I keep talking about this, but like you look through history, the only way the lower class, if we put it like that, the people who are struggling can really make changes by unifying. That there is no other way, because that's what happens. So every now and again, the upper echelon of the people who make the decisions, they will pick someone in the lower class and show, see, you can do it. And they send a message, which is like, if they can do it, anyone can do it. And they're like, you're right. And then you start thinking, oh, they're right. I can do it too. And then you start fighting because you want to be the one in a million, as opposed to give opportunity for everyone to be successful. So,
right.
Like the narrative is sexy to be able to come from the slums and go up. Yes. But the narrative of we can all be successful together is not sexy at all. And I have no idea why.
I agree with that. That you are absolutely correct. But I'm going to take it a step even further. If we all can't be successful, can we all at least make a living? You understand what I'm saying? So it's to the point to where we can't make any money off of the publishing. If you don't have licensing, if you're not going to movies, you're not going to TV, and it used to take popularity to get licensing, but you can get some cheaper shows or whatever. But the residuals that's coming from that is nothing. So we need like a SAG in hip hop to where if we're releasing music, we should all be, especially if you're not popular. Why should I get taxed the same amount as Beyonce? You understand? It should be more lenient because my streams are more valuable to me than Beyonce's are to her. You understand what I'm saying? Right now, we're getting 0.004 per stream. 1 million streams, you make like a little bit over $4,000. 1 million streams. You can't live off of $4,000. You can't live off of that. And we're talking about 1 million streams for an album or whatever. So,
and then you get taxed on that.
Yes. We need something set up to where we can, if you're not selling billions and billions of streams, then why aren't your streams worth more? But you know what? Let's just make it fair all across the board. Everybody streams. If you put out a song and somebody listens to it, you deserve to get paid from it. You deserve to get paid. And right now, the only people that are making money, because we're not getting none of that ad money that Spotify is getting or Apple Music is, we're not getting none of that money. and our streams are super cheap, and artists right now can't make it. And that's my message that I want to give right now is a lot of artists are too proud to admit it, but a lot of artists are starving. Just like a lot of actors are starving. You know, a lot of writers are starving. And it's crazy to where because they're doing the exact same work, but now it's worth less. And we got to add more worth, man, to our talents. Our talents are worth something. Art is worth something. So,
well, I think
you're
that
right.
goes back to is music is no longer the business. Music is the funnel to get you to sell something else. That's the scary
Yes.
thing because
Yes.
when artists start making money off the music, they're like, okay, the music is not generating money, but it can generate attention
Yes.
to then sell something else, an affiliation, my own clothing, whatever else I want to sell. And that's where they make the money, which is why music is then disposable because they're like, I don't give a shit because if it doesn't get attention, then it's worthless regardless of how good the album is.
Right. Right. And it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter how good the album is. It's like, okay, well, is TikTok playing it? These are the questions. TikTok playing your album? They should be, but but if you're not on TikTok, prostituting yourself, doing stupid ass dances and other things, then it's kind of hard to catch because your talent your talent is only going to take you so far. Your talent is only going to take you so far, and it's not going to really catch a fan base now. But if you keep plugging at it, I'm not saying it's hopeless. You keep plugging at it, you can carve out a fan base in this business. You, out here in this digital realm, because MF Doom did. MF Doom, but his fan base actually carried over from the CD, cassette tape, vinyl over into digital streaming. But he still wasn't over 1 million followers on Instagram, and he had a loyal fan base. And to me, he was a great, great artist to me because he represented freedom. He can just get on tracks, not have to worry about selling singles, not have to worry about wearing a chain or whatever the hell. He just got on tracks and rhymed, and he represented freedom to me. So when he passed, that kind of hit me. It kind of hit me hard because it was like, damn, a lot of artists like that don't exist. Jay Electronica is another one. Jay Electronica, he said, you know what? This is my art, and I'm going to do my art. I don't care if it fits this or that, or he's not trying to fit in no boxes or stereotypes or nothing. He's just doing him. That's why I respect his music. I respect his music so much and what he stands for, and the boldness in his content is it has he he has actual power. A lot of artists are giving away their power just to fit in these boxes, And I said I wasn't going to get on here and talk about rappers and dresses and stuff like that, and doing other things which they are doing to get to the next level. Instead of talking about that, I want to talk about some of the artists that I respect, like the Jay Electronicas and J. Cole's and artists like that. I'm just happy they exist, but they are suffering. But J. Cole is actually considered a main artist now. He's considered a major artist, and he's not dealing with something that Talib Kweli is dealing with, even though he has a loyal fan base. But he's not selling out arenas, and he should be. Jay Electronica is not selling out arenas. He should be. And somehow we gotta come together. Like you were saying, we need to come together because united we stand, divided we fall. We need to come together quickly because we need to find a way to sell our music in the physical, to give something physical. We have to try to find a way to do it. We have to find a way to do it because these streams ain't paying us nothing.
I feel like the only way to do it is to stop putting your music on Spotify.
Like Kanye. See, Kanye, he sold that he sold Donda on one of those little streaming type of, I don't know what it was, but I know it was something physical that he could put his music on and sell directly to the fans. And people want to talk crap about it or talk. I'm like, but yo, listen, he tried something. And you already know that I got a checkered past with Kanye, but at the same time, I still give respect where respect is due. Like the dude tried something. And it's more than what everybody else is doing, because I just service my album to all the DSPs, because I'm like, damn, like what I'm gonna do? Sell USB drives? What am I like? What else am I gonna do? And they kind of got us backed into a corner, and with these DSPs, and then they have a stronghold on us, saying, well, you gotta come to us, and we're not gonna pay you. We got to come up with something.
But here's my question. Here's my question. What have you got to lose by not putting it on streams?
Nothing, because you're not making nothing. Nothing. But you have, well, how about the fans? The fans are on the DSPs, right? And it's going to make it harder for you to market and promote if you say, come to my website. Then you got to link to your website or to something else that's not what they already have. We're like, well, I got Apple Music. Well, I got Spotify. Aren't you on there? No, I'm not on there. They don't even have the attention span long enough to even go, well, let me go listen to his album. Let me type in his website, MaddiMadd.com. Nobody's doing that. And that's why they got us. They got us because they know the fans have short attention spans and they're lazy. And, well, not really just the fans. We all are now. I'm going to put myself in that. I don't want fans to think I'm talking about fans are lazy. No, people in general are lazy. We are all lazy because these damn phones got us. They got us. Our whole lives are in these phones. And if we can't access it with our phone, are we really, do we really care?
Well, my counter to you only is that fans care when all the artists care. So like,
yes.
So obviously the writer's strike and the acting strike in Hollywood, now you're seeing fans go, what the fuck? Like, you pay these people because
yes,
they fans are suffering, and that's the only way. So if there was a whole lot of artists who are just like, no, I'm not putting music on there. I refuse to release music unless it's independent, then fans would start to care and start to clamor. But fans only care when it hurts them or when the artist they particularly love is hurting. But it's hard to almost comprehend the scale at which all of this is happening when you're not in the world, and I'm not in the world, but it's hard to like even imagine that this is a problem because you don't think about it on a day-to-day basis. You just go in and you're like, hey, I want to listen to Maddi Madd, and he just released a new project, and I'm going to listen to that music. I don't think about how much Maddi Madd is making. I don't think about whether he's struggling or not. All I think about is like, man, this song is great. I want to listen to that song again. I want to listen to that project again. And I assume inherently that they're going to be okay because I love it, and I think that there are going to be other people that love it.
Right. But you know what? I just thought about something. What Jay-Z tried with Tidal, I think we should revisit that. I think all the artists should get together and be like, you know what? We're going to come up with our own streaming service, and we're going to pay ourselves a respectable wage per stream. And if we all get on it, that's going to generate the ad revenue. That's going to Pepsi and Nike and everybody's going to want to advertise on that streaming service because all of the major artists are on there. I think if we all stand together and say, you know what, we're going to all be on here. We got to create a streaming service to where we can all make a respectable wage per stream. I think that'll work. Because I've been sitting here racking my brain trying to figure out what the hell can we do, because it's got to be something. There's always a way. It has to be something. I think we should all come up with a streaming service that pays not no 0.004, like fractions of a damn penny per stream. You know how much money it takes to actually record a song? You know how much money it actually takes to buy the beat, to rap on the song? You know how much money it takes to mix a song? You know how much money it takes to master a song? You know what I'm saying? So, you know how much money it takes to even create the cover, to actually present the damn record. So, we're not getting paid right. I think if we did that, I think we'll be okay. If we can find a streaming service, we create our own streaming service, and all of the artists say, you know what? Goodbye, Spotify. Goodbye, Apple Music. Hello, our shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's all the artists go to. I think we can win that way.
Yeah, I wonder how much of like the profit percentage you'll get. That's what I also wonder of, like, okay, if they make, let's say Spotify as a company makes, let's call it $1 billion. Out of that billion, what portion do artists in the totality get? That's my other question, because I have no idea of, like, obviously people who obviously companies can't give away all their money because otherwise they wouldn't exist. But I wonder how much they do, what portion of their total profit artists get. That's what I do wonder. Is it 50? Is it 10%? Is it less than 1%? I have no idea. And that's what I actually wonder. I wonder if there is even an ability for a company like that to exist and have a way better portion share.
I know they're getting a lion's share. I used to know. I'm going to look into that. But I know the percentage is very low. I know it's below 50%. There's not an even split, definitely, because if it was an even split, our streams would be worth more. I think that every artist that's on Spotify, every single one of them, is still below 50%. It's still below 50%. What artists are getting back is still below 50%. And I think it's drastically, I can't really remember the numbers, but I'm going to look into that. But I think the numbers are drastically lower than they should be.
I mean, I would be surprised if it was more than 5%. Like, I would genuinely be surprised. I get the impression that it's not that. That's purely based on just conversations, talking to people, and just what I feel. I know it doesn't really help facts. I haven't looked into it, but I would be surprised if it was more than 5% of the total profit share. But if it is higher than 5%, then I think the model is not good for artists. Because if you're getting 10% of profits and it's only 0.004 cents on the dollar, whatever you want to call it, if that's 10%, then like there's just too many artists. Then obviously the split doesn't make sense, because they're turning around and they're saying, well, we're giving you 10% of our total profit share. We run it all. But like there are so many artists and the attention is split across a huge platform that all of a sudden that 10% across everyone feels like less than 1%, but it's not. And that's what I actually wonder is, like, with the ease of putting out music, y'all are just competing with everybody else. If there was 10 artists and it was 10%, you would all make more. But it's millions and millions and millions of artists, and so the percentage just continues to get split.
Yeah, I wish that was the case. I just think that it's good old fashioned greed. I just think that they set a bar and there was no backlash. Because streaming was so new that it said, okay, this is how much streams should cost. And there was no backlash. So they said, y'all going with it? All right, let's go. And now they just running with the shit. You know what I'm saying? There is no set market on the stream. I just think that they set a market and nobody argued with it, and they just kept running with it. And now I think they've raised it a little bit, like a point or something. I think it was for 0.003 at one point. Now it's 0.004. And I don't know. I just know it's criminal. It's criminal. And we got to do something about it. Artists, we got to come together. We got to stop talking and do something. It's time to do something, because If we don't, then man, listen, it's gonna be hard to get a rapper off the street. Like, all right, man, yo, listen, get off the street and start rapping. I'm like, why? So I can make no money? You know what I'm saying? So how are we gonna get rappers off the street? You know what I'm saying? Like that was one of my things to get off the street. I was like, man, all right, well, I know how much money I'll get if I sold dope. And you telling me I can make more money in music. All right, cool. So boom, I got into music. Boom, I started making money. I started seeing that how the checks could come, this, that, and the third. And I was like, you know what? This is safer. I'm not risking my life and I'm not going to jail. So okay, this is a better move for me. But you know what I'm saying? I can also, buy clothes. I can also, pay rent and buy a car. I was living. But now you're gonna tell an artist, yeah, go ahead, get off the street and come in this music industry. And now you can't pay rent, you can't buy a car, you can't buy new clothes. You know what I'm saying? So, and a lot of these artists' jewelry that you be seeing is fake. It's not even real. Like they're not even. It's just I don't know, man. I don't even know what it is. It's like I'm watching a rolling circus. Like it's just a circus right now because a lot of things that you think is real is not real, and a lot of artists that you think are authentic, you find out they got 5 or 6 ghostwriters. And you're like, damn, that's not even your thoughts. That's not even your. How can I get into this and be like, oh, this is a dope artist when you got like 5 or 6 ghostwriters? I'm like, that's not even him. He's speaking someone else's experiences and thoughts. So everything, the whole industry right now, the music industry is in a terrible condition. The condition is terrible, and I hope it can recover because I love it. I love it. And to see, I'll be happy when I see like Rakim get money to do a show. But Rakim broke through once. He broke through. When it comes to who was the hottest in hip hop, Rakim was once that guy. What about artists who never broke through and now they're trying to get shows? Now they're trying to get licensing. Now they're trying to get this and they're trying to get that. It's even more difficult. The legends got it better than some of these new artists because the legends can still do. They got songs that you remember. They got songs you remember, and I don't give a damn where you are. There's always going to be somebody 50 years old. Like, damn, I remember that song. You know what I'm saying? I remember that song. I'm gonna go see Rakim. And the tickets are respectable. Paying $40, you go see Rakim. Okay, cool. But that artist is still making a good payday. It should be like that. It should be like that for more artists. Hip hop. I hate to be gloom and doom, but my music form right now is suffering. It's like on life support. It's suffering right now, and it's hard to not get on here and just talk about the truth and just say that, oh yeah, everything's peachy, man. Hip hop has never been better, and that's what they want to hear because the DSPs and everybody, they're the ones making money. The labels aren't making money. Labels are shutting down left and right.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't want to continue with the negativity, but I mean, I've spoken to a few people and they're like, being a rapper used to be cool. Like I used to say I'm a rapper and I used to be proud of being a rapper and people were like, damn, that's sick. And now you say you're a rapper and it's kind of corny. And they're like, the feeling is different. It's weird. I've never said I'm a rapper because I genuinely cannot rap. But like, that's what they're saying to me is like, I used to feel cool. And now when I say I'm a rapper, everyone's like, get out of here, man. Everyone raps.
Everyone raps. And that's the thing. It's so oversaturated and watered down. But even if it is oversaturated and watered down, the cream is supposed to rise to the top. But the society don't respect the cream. And you see me, I'm watching my words. You see me watching my words because I done talked about fans hard enough and long enough. I'm not going to do that. I love fans. I don't give a damn if it's 20 people streaming my song right now. I love every 20 of them. But that's not the point I've been trying to make. I'm trying to make it's not really just a music thing. It's really a societal thing. It's society. No one respects the real. No one respects talent. No one respects the art form, like they should. I'm not going to say no one. There's just a small pocket of people that do, and that's the pocket that you're trying to tap into. That's the pocket that you're trying to tap into. You're definitely trying to get into, and that's why I think that if I would have got that joint with Nas on Success, damn, Nas was supposed to be on this one or the last one. Nas was supposed to be on this one, and it didn't come through. That wasn't Nas' fault. It was probably the person who was putting it together. So the person who was putting it together didn't put it together, and so like I couldn't wait. I had to get the project out because I wanted it in the marketplace by a certain time. Because you don't want to start running into November and December, and the label shut down, marketing is shut down, and you got Christmas, and you got Thanksgiving and all the holiday stuff, and a lot of artists get swept up in the holidays, and you lose projects in there sometimes. So it's better to release a project before the holidays or at the top of the year. You don't want to get caught up in that.
Do you think you'll get those projects with Nas and Rakim? Like, do you think are they still possible in the near future?
You know what? Me, I'm an optimist. I'm a glass half full guy. Contrary to this interview, this interview was pretty gloom and doom. But
we're transitioning. We're transitioning. Yeah. We did the negativity. We're transitioning to nothing but positivity.
The positive aspects. Yeah. The positive aspect of this album is being very well received, and the Rakim situation is a great possibility that can happen. And it's a good possibility that the Nas can happen. But I'm just going to keep pushing. I'm going to keep pushing, and everything is going to work out the way it's supposed to work out, for the guy. But the project, we can talk about the album. The album has some songs on here that I talk about some very personal things, and it's being very well received. It's a song called What Good Is Love, and it goes into my personal life, the things that artists deal with behind the scenes that people never see, and my life is real. That's pretty much talking about the type of things that artists deal with that they do promote now, but they're not supposed to. That's why they keep going to jail, and they come out with a diss record and they're dead in a week. It's just like it's a different day. Like certain things you're not supposed to talk about, and when you listen to My Life Is Real, that's how you're supposed to talk about real life situations in music. You're not supposed to be talking about people's names and places and giving the feds facts that they can actually, damn, you know what, this actually adds up. And then they're going to come lock your dumb ass up. So you're not supposed to do none of that. So this is what rap music is supposed to be. It's supposed to be. That's why I listen to Nas still, because Nas is doing rap how rap is supposed to be. J. Cole is doing rap how rap is supposed to be. So is Kendrick and a lot of those different artists. Now, as far as the guys who got ghostwriters, I respect them because listen, you're making your money and you're feeding your family. I respect that. But as far as the art form of music, the art form of rap, I can't give you no top position. I can't give you that. I can't give it to you. You got to be dope. You know what I'm saying? You got to be dope. But the Success album is dope. And there's a lot of dope songs on there that a lot of people is gonna rock with because it's a real album. Success 3 is a real album. If you like listening to real albums, get Success 3. It's gonna take you on ups and downs. You're gonna dance. You're gonna smoke your cigar or do whatever you do to kick it and chill. You know what I'm saying? Then you're gonna go into find out what went wrong in my relationships. You hear songs about past relationships. You can have an experience. It's a real experience. Success 3 is a real album in a day to where everybody is making singles. Like they got an album full of singles. Like this song sounds just like the last one. That one sounds just like the next one. So fans, I think, are getting tired of that. They're getting tired of every song sounding alike and you rapping about the same thing all the time. Fans, I think, I have to give them more credit because I be online and I see fans be like, you know what? Damn, dude's album, every song sounds exactly alike. I hear that. I'm like, damn, if we only had 10 more million fans like that, you know, like it'll be a better situation. But a lot of fans are coming around to if we can just get them out of that trash, if we can just get them out of if the I said I wasn't gonna do that. So if we can get them out of listening to certain type of artists, you know, that just give you trash on purpose. It's not like they're giving you trash because that's who they are. They're giving you trash on purpose because they know you like trash. You have to say no to trash. Yes to success. Yes to success 3, no to trash. You know what I'm saying? So
I like that moniker for you. You can make a t-shirt like that. Say
yes.
No to trash, yes to success. Or just yes to success.
Yes. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely with that, man. I have faith that things can turn around, but it's gonna take an artist like a revolution. It's gonna take all of the artists that can spit to just be like, you know what? That's why Nas was like, man, yo, listen, drop projects, drop music. But a lot of artists like, damn, it's not even worth it to drop music. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Nas has dropped.
Coming out saying,
he's dropping so many. I'm like, in the last 2 years, he's dropped like 6 projects. I'm like, holy fuck, and they're good. Yes. They're all good. Like Hit Boy as his producer, like he's just, and they keep getting better. King's Disease 3 was so good, and it was like King's Disease 1 was good, 2 got better, and 3 was like so crisp, so clean. And I was just like, no features. He was like, I can do it, and I know the formula, and I believe in myself enough to have no features in that project. And I went for a walk one day, it was sunny, and I just listened to it, and I was like, well, this is 5 stars, and that is 5 stars, and I'm going to listen to that again. I just saved the whole album. It was just such a good project.
The dude is dope, man, and I like the fact that he exists, and he's dropping these projects because Nas never used to drop projects like that. But he like, you know what? He know there is a void and it's a need for a certain type of music, for real lyricists, for real subject matter. You know, he know there's a void, and he's filling the void. He's just spitting out projects, and we need that. There's a lot of, and he did it with no features, you know, and like Success 3, I only got Young Z on there. The only person that rapped on Success 3 besides me was Young Z from the Outsiders. And I was just paying I did that because, first of all, I love Young Z music. And he's hip hop. He's a lyricist. And on my very first project I've ever did, I had Young Z on it. So it was kind of like a nostalgic type of thing I wanted to give with this song. And we need Nas, and we need didn't gonna pull up playing that. He was feeling it. But we need Nas and Jay and Jay Electronica, all of the Talib Kweli, Mos Def, Andre 3000. We need these artists to put out projects. Andre 3000 leaving music is probably one of the most tragic things that could have happened to the art form. It was tragic, you know, and I hear he's working on a new album. So I'm looking forward to seeing if he put that out.
Well, everyone's fingers are crossed. But you actually lead me to a question that I've had. And because I was listening to your EP, A Million Ways, which came out in 1999. And this project, Success 3, comes out in 2023. That's 24 years difference. And I'm interested to know your perspective on the way making music has changed, because there is something about 90s albums that are like not clear, they're grimy, they're dirty as fuck, but it adds, there's this feeling that you get. Then when I listen to your project now, and the beats are crisp as fuck, they're clean, they're so audible, your lyrics are so audible, and I'm interested in your perspective of like, that's almost a quarter of a century difference. And like from you've been making music throughout that period of like, what was the difference between the late 90s making music then versus now and making music now in terms of just the process?
The process took longer in the 90s because you rapped on a 2-inch reel or ADAT or something like that, and it wasn't as quick. No, I can do a song now like very fast because I don't write my lyrics down. I rap all my lyrics into my phone, and it's very easy to record now because it's so digital. It'd be like, okay, put the track right there, put the track right there. Before you had to rewind, the reel had to rewind, and you had to find the spot, and then you had to do your lyrics a little bit different. The recording process alone was longer. It took longer to do simple things. Now everything is at the press of a button. It's very quick. And the music from the 90s, you say it sounded grimier. Like the Million Ways was grimier because the way you mix and the way you master, it depended on the engineer. Now everybody has the same stuff. You know what I'm saying? So the mastering doesn't really vary that much now, and the mixing doesn't really vary that much now. But back then it did. It was paramount that you had good, like that's what Biggie always had. Biggie always had great engineers. Pac sometimes struggled with engineers because there are some Pac songs that you be like, damn, that sound just sonically that was terrible, But it was a dope song, but just sonically it was like that's off. But Pac had way more music. He went through so many different changes. Pac went through damn near all of the changes except for digital. He went through all of the changes through music because he came up at the golden era of music. And you're right, it's a lot grimier. My Million Ways is so much grimier than just sounded grimier. It sounded like I was fresh out of the jail. Like it sounded like that. Like it sounded like I was fresh off the block. Success 3, like my brother was telling me, he was like, man, it's so crispy. It's just so it's so crispy. It's so like damn. It's like because now when I listen to tracks, I listen for that. I listen to the producers who make the tracks. Some producers can still give you a grimy beat because they don't know how to mix their beats the right way. So I've got tracks from producers and I have to go in and mix this beat. I'm talking about from scratch. Like this dude, he just don't know. He's just raw. But that's cool. Raw talent is cool. You know what I'm saying? Pause. The track was raw. You know what I'm saying? So the dude gave me a track that I felt like it needed to be mixed. You have to do that. But some producers have escalated their game to a point to where you get it, you're like, damn, this track, you don't even really need to mix this. All you gotta do is lay vocals on it and it's ready to go. But damn, so now I listen for that now. I wanted to find for Success 3. Success 1 had a couple of those tracks on there that wasn't mixed properly. And that was my fault. It was my fault because I wasn't trying to match them up. Like Success 1 is raw as hell. There's some tracks that got fucking static in it. This is one track I listened to, I can hear it. But it has static in it. And I was like, ooh, every time I hear it, I just cringe. Because that's why I wanted this one, Success 3, to be so sonically, you know what I'm saying? I wanted it to be crystal. I wanted the shit to bang, all the bass lines to hit, everything. And I wanted the lyrics to be not too lyrical, because I didn't want to get those same complaints that I got from some of the songs to where because I overdo it. I overdo it sometimes, instead of just saying something simple, in a clever way, I say it in a clever way and complex. And then people like, damn, like, can't really feel that. And, a lot of like producers that are like older, like Timberland and all that, they don't want you doing no lyrical shit no more. They like, yo, man, let's just do simple shit and we gonna sell it. I can't do a song like that. I can only bring it down so far.
Is it trippy?
I'm not even bringing it down. Yeah.
Can I ask you, is it trippy to go back through your catalog to listen to like, because you have a chronicles of your life in your music, and
Right.
your experience listening to your own music is unique because not only did you make it at the time you were living that, but now you go back and you will be able to remember the things that you were experiencing at the time that you made it. It's like you've got layers upon layers of your own creativity to be able to explore your life. And like it's like this really cool time machine. Like for me, I listen to your music and I'm like, I'm taken on a journey with you. But for you, it's like a, a memory bank. Like you go back and
Yes.
you remember all these things. It's kind of trippy.
And it takes you back to periods. Like you're right, it is a time machine, and the music has that unique ability to be that. And when I listen to songs, I know exactly what I was going through. Like when I made that song, I remember exactly what I was going through. I remember exactly the period, the things that was going on around my life during that time. When I hear certain songs, I remember where I was at. I remember where I recorded it. I remember everything. And when I do go back and I listen to some of my music, I always had the subject matter. It was always, I had a song called Mind Over Matter. I have so many lost albums because of different situations. I left the label in 90 in 90 no, in 2000. I left the label. So the album that I had, the Midwest Juggernaut album that I had, damn, that was before the Midwest Juggernaut album. No, that was the Midwest Juggernaut album. All of that music got lost because I left the label and was like, I left everything. I left all the tracks. I didn't take nothing, and I didn't put nothing out. And then I went directly into the situation where Devontae produced all those records for me, and then we got it. Then of course, if they watched the last interview, they know what happened. The feds came and I couldn't put that project out, or it would have been money laundering. So fuck it. So I ended up losing that whole project, and then I had to end up going into another project. I went through so many different periods to where I went through a period where I couldn't create. I couldn't because I was like, damn, if I put out music right now, they're gonna come get me? Or well, what's gonna happen? It was a lot of different things that was going on, and and it took a mental strain on me, you know. So I finally was like, fuck it, let's get back to it. But you're right, my music do that, and you even bringing it up just took me back. So you bringing it up, I was thinking about the songs that people haven't heard. A lot of songs on my Reverb Nation is songs that got lost in like me leaving labels or different situations, and I could never put them out. And maybe one day I'll be able to put them out on DSPs, but I don't want to. I don't want to. That's why I keep them on Reverb Nation. I'll probably put them on my website and sell them all for $1. I don't know.
You could just,
And I still make more money.
I mean, you could just make them as like, CD only, or like, vinyl only, like collector's edition. Like these were never released on streams. I think there's something to that of like, this was never released for anyone to listen to. This is like, lost projects, the lost tapes of like your
Yeah.
evolution of an artist. I think there's something to that of like, yeah, I don't know. I think there's something you could do that. I feel like you'd be able to get some interest from fans to be like, damn, look at all these projects before you had, the case. And then, and for anyone who hasn't listened to the first interview, we go into, the case and not being able to release music, and then how you were feeling and you almost wanting to quit music, and like just the whole emotional journey. So for anyone who wants to listen to that, that's episode 118. But like, it's weird because I don't like re-listening to my own podcasts. It reminds me of a time where like I'm still on the come up and I'm overly critical. Like you said, you're the only one that hears things. I'm the same with my own podcast, but I was with somebody else. We were just looking through them, and just audio wise, I was like, oh fuck, there is a huge difference between episodes, 1 to 30, and then you can see them getting better. And the audio it's almost like you become more professional and you forget that you're on that journey. But the only time you appreciate it is like, oh yeah, look at all the changes I made. Look at what I've been trying to work towards.
And that's what I've seen. I've seen that with your podcast. I've seen you. The first thing you want to see is consistency when you're dealing with people who do what you do. You're like, you know what? If they're consistently getting guests, if they're consistently putting out content, this is the grind. The journey is the funnest part. Like a lot of rich people I know, there's like, man, things was funner when I was broke and I was on the come up. Like things was funner then. Like, because it's a lot less, it's pressure on you now because you got worldly pressures and you're trying to build something. Anytime you building something from nothing, it's going to be a hard ass grind. It's going to be a hard grind. And once you actually get to some of those like goals you have set and you accomplish one of them, you be like, damn. And you look back, you like, yeah, I've come a long way. I've come a long way. And that's one of the reasons why I didn't. I don't think I was ever at a point to where I was going to stop doing music. I was at a point just to where I didn't know how I was going to create. I didn't know how I was going to create because I was creating from a different perspective. I was creating from a person who I had my own budget. I had my own money. If I wanted, I could go do what I want to do. And then to have to start over to zero and have to start, damn, what am I going to talk about? What am I going to rap about? Well, I didn't even know how I felt because I was still dealing with the trauma of everything that was going on. So I think that artists like ourselves, because you are an artist. When you create content, you are an artist. And this is your platform is an art form. Podcasting is an art form to me. And when you're creating from nothing, we got to just keep plugging because it only takes one. It only takes one. One podcast, one song, one interview, one anything. It only takes one for everything to change. So that's why we got to keep plugging.
I think you said that to me on the last podcast. It only takes one. And that has sat with me every single one that I release. It only takes one. But what I've noticed is it only takes one for you to blast off. But that one is built off everything else that you do.
Yeah.
Like it's like it's the embodiment of your whole journey up until that point. It is all the shit that you think and like go through the phase of like, why am I doing this? This sucks. Or like, the shitty parts of all of this, because creating things is fun when you create, but then the other stuff that you have to do on top of that no one sees, that's like the painful part. And you're like, if only I didn't have to do this. And all I did was create all day, how happy I would be constantly. But all of that is like, it builds you to a place where you're ready for what you're supposed to have. Like there's no cheap way to earn it. You got to earn it.
Oh yeah. They're damn sure not going to give it to you. But that's one of the things that the next level provides, because independent artists have a different grind than an artist that's signed to a major label. Because artists that signed to a major label, if you don't, they get everything paid for and taken care of for them, right? And they think it's easy street, but it's really not. It's really putting them in debt. But independent artists, every time we go in the studio, we got to pay for that. Not unless you built your own, but that still took money to do that. So trust me, like any artist out there, I don't care what it is that you're doing. The hardest thing in the world to do is to build it from the ground up. Like, because you got to pay for all your studio time. You got to pay for your marketing. You got to pay for your promotion. You got to pay for everything. All your photo shoots. You got to pay all your trips. You got to pay for everything. But it'll be worth it if you get one. If you get one to get out there, then you can set your own rules. Because a lot of these artists, even podcasters, even people that are in your field, they sign with these big parent companies, right? And then they get these checks to where they don't have to put their own money into it no more. Now they just have the freedom to create. And that's a lot of things. That's what we don't have. The people that's grinding, just the freedom to create, and we don't have to worry about nothing else. That's what the hell we working for. You know what I'm saying? But trust me, you don't want to sell out to get it.
Well, that was what I was thinking. Like I look at those people and I'm like, I'm kind of paranoid. Like me personally, I'm a parent. I think I don't trust people very easily, and I definitely don't
Rightfully so.
trust, and I don't trust companies because I'm just like, I've worked corporate and I see and my professional career has been in sales. So I see corporates and I've worked at big corporates, but I know that they're not out for you. They're only going to use you as long as you help them. And so, like, I like the podcasters who have built over a long period of time and maintain their independence and now control the company that controls their podcast. And so
Yeah.
they've almost changed. Like musicians and artists have changed. They've stopped being just artists and they're record label owners. I mean, you're the CEO of Blimp City Records. So,
Right.
like, artists have evolved. And I think that's an important piece to touch on is like, you're not just a rapper, you're not just an artist, you're also a person who runs their own company. And I think that's the real way to do it as a podcaster. And that's where I'd like to get to at some point is like, it's now my own company and now it's my own thing. And I don't have to dilute it or dilute the content or
Right.
worry about anyone else's voice. Cause at the end of the day, it's my own thing and no one gets to tell me what to do. That's my fear of someone else being like, hey, Aaron, you can't do that. I would never want that to even be a thing that I have to.
Because that's not freedom.
About. No.
Yeah, that's not freedom. Nobody wants to. When you own your own, just stay independent. I stayed independent all this time. It's been plenty of times I have record deals tossed at me throughout my career, throughout this time, and I just said no because once you get a taste of what it means to be independent, what it means to run your own show, nobody can tell me what kind of album I can turn in or what kind of songs I got to record or I got to write or none of that. I'm going to run my own show. When you run your own show, it's a freedom in that. It's a freedom in that. It is a hard grind because we don't have the marketing dollars to compete with the majors, but we still got the content. We still got the content. As long as we got the content, all we got to do is keep coming with the content. We're gonna get it. We're gonna keep coming with the content. We're gonna make that shit happen. You know what I'm saying? So I want you to keep plugging away, man. I'm gonna keep. Oh, I got a new artist dropping. Damn, it's not even a new artist. He just wanted to did some time. He had a case, and I don't know why it's been happening. Regardless, I don't know. But I decided the artist a few years ago. His name's Swifty Hundo out of Toronto. The kid is dope. And he's went and did a little bit of time. And now he's gearing up. He's gearing up to release a project soon. So 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna put him with you. So y'all can go over the project, So I don't know if we're gonna drop it. It's already out. Nope. He's coming out top of the year, 2024.
Well, you can keep me updated with when we can do that. But I was just going to say, people like yourself serve as good inspiration and motivation for me because, as I said, I mean, your EP came out in 1999. It's 2023. You're still grinding. And I'm looking at mine and I'm like, well, I'm 160 plus, I think close to 170 now episodes. But when I look at the time frame, that's like 3 years. That's not even close to the amount of time you've been putting in. So it's kind of like it always serves as a good perspective because you sometimes, and I think I fall into the trap of being like, oh, I wish it came faster, but I haven't been doing it for long enough. And I look at you and I'm like, oh yeah, it's important to be patient. It's important to like recognize in the journey that I'm on, I'm not even close to getting to where I can get. And it's just a matter of, as you said, consistency. Don't stop. And there are thoughts constantly of like, I wonder if I quit, what would happen? And I never want to quit, but I wonder what that, and it's just like you having those, toxic thoughts and we all have them and just acknowledging them and letting them go. But like, yeah, I think people like yourself help serve as like, hey, it's possible to continue doing it. You don't have to set a time frame. of like, oh, you got 5 years and that's it?
Not at all. You're closer to where you're trying to get to than from where you started. You know what I'm saying? So you're closer to where you're trying to get to than from where you started. So it don't make no sense to turn back now. You might as well ride it till the wheels come off. You know what I'm saying? Ride it till you can't ride it no more. Because that's when you're gonna say that, you know what, I put forth my best effort. You know, like even if it's not me that drops the next hit to change the course of Blimp City Records. Even if it's somebody else, it doesn't matter. It's not going to stop me from creating because I can't stop doing it. I can't stop creating. I do it every day. I do it every day. I came up with a song concept this morning. Like I can't stop. Like, every day I wake up, I think about it. Every night I go to sleep, I think about it. I can't. It's either it's in you or it's not. You know. So I think while I still have this drive and this burn to create, I'm going to create until I no longer have it, and that's when I'm gonna stop. So I just think that if you got Nas is 50 years older. Jay is older than that, you know, and you got artists like 2 Chainz and Rick Ross and, you know, and 50 Cent still on tour. And if Rakim can still be on tour, you know what I'm saying? I look at, see, all of this is inspiration and motivation for me. Like a lot, that's why I'm happy these artists exist, because it gives you motivation to create. Like, you know what? There is a fan base. There's 8 billion people on this planet. I have to have I got a million fan base out there somewhere. I got to just find them. You got to find them. It's not like before, you know what I'm saying? And podcasting too, you know, but podcasting, you got such an advantage to where when it comes to creating, all you got to do is come with the real. Don't edit it down to a bunch of bullshit. As people respect real, because that's why every time I see your podcast come up, I watch it, because I know it's going to be something honest. I know it's going to be something authentic and how the person truly feels. I know it's not no political correct, you know what I'm saying, bullshit fluff that, you know, that's out there.
Well, I appreciate it. And yeah, I mean, as I said to you before we record, and I say the same thing to every artist, anything flies on this show. Anything flies. Yeah. That's, you know, there is no value for me to get you to agree with me all the time. That's not why we're having this conversation. The conversation is to literally talk, and for me and hopefully the fans to understand you, understand what you think, understand what you're going through, your perspective on stuff. And if I fed you stuff, that would be the worst possible way. And I would hate myself for doing it. I would be like, this sucks. How many interviews are there that are like, all right, I'm going to tell you the questions I'm going to ask before we've even spoken, and there's no organic to it. We don't get to feel Maddi Madd arrive at his answer. We don't get to see the gradual build of like, all right, we're finding something here naturally, and we see the creativity in the conversation. I think it is different, but I think a lot of people get into the trap of formulaic, you know, long form content where they still feel like they need too much structure, whereas they don't trust themselves enough to just be like, hey, it's okay. If it goes haywire, it goes haywire. That's kind of the fun of it. And we'll just, and then it comes down to like, does your guest feel comfortable? And if they don't, then that's your problem as the host.
Mm-hmm. Man, you know what? The one thing I can say about when I do interviews, and it gets me in trouble a lot because I tell the truth. And a person once said to me, there's no place on the internet for truth. And I think about that all the time, you know, and even in this interview, there's a lot of things that that I talk about, you know, with music executives and people I know in the music industry, that I don't think the fans, I don't think it'll help if the fans knew, you know, some of the things. So you got to keep some kind of mystery in between the artist and the music business and the people that consume music, because a lot of people tell you don't meet your heroes. A lot of people tell you don't peek behind the curtain. And they say that for a reason, because it can change your perspective on how you listen to the music. Because I've met people and I've and it changed how I listen to their music. Like, damn, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that motherfucker, he's an asshole. Like that person, yo, that's a fucked up person. Like, and you just like don't even want to, even though I try to keep it separate. I try to keep it separate. I try to separate the art from the artist. But sometimes it's hard because people, we we, we draw parallels and we judge sometimes. We like, you know what? This a messed up person. I'm not gonna buy this, or that's a messed up person. I'm not gonna support that. We do it all the time, and so I try not to do that when it comes to music. That's why, like when I give certain information, I want it to be enough information to where it's authentic to me. It's what I truly feel, but I don't want it to be enough information to where people be like, damn, like I didn't want to know that about this person. I didn't want to, I didn't want to, you know what I'm saying? So when I do interviews, I try to be a little bit more cautious now, more cautious than I used to be. But I wonder how long that's gonna last. It's probably last until somebody piss me off.
Then you can come back on the show because
Right.
I'm a nosy motherfucker. I can't help myself. I want to know all the dirt, all the secrets, even if it's shit that I'm like, oh, I wish I didn't know that. But it's the genuine curiosity of like diving into a genre that I've always loved and just being able to because like for me it's all sneaks behind the curtain. I don't stand behind the curtain. I'm like with the fans, but then I get the odd sneak behind the curtain to see what's going on, and it's fun, it's scary, it's like all of the above. And yeah, as you're right, there are sometimes I hear stories about people that I've loved, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of changed. But I think that's better. I think that's better, honestly, than living in ignorance. I mean, there are certain artists that I used to like that they've done things that I've learned about, and then I'm like, I can't listen to them. I can't support them anymore because of certain things that they've done in their personal life that I'm just like goes against my own morality. So I have that too of like being able to separate a little bit. I tend not to like to do it, but sometimes there are just people who do fuck shit and you're like, I just cannot support you because I don't feel like you deserve my support.
Right. And that's the crazy thing about being in the music industry is that people tell me things whether I want to know it or not, and it could just be quick, like answer the phone, like, yo, so and so, so and so, so. I'm like, like, come on, man. Like, I didn't even want to know that. Like, so but right now with the fans, there's a lot of different things going on. I can't really call what it is. A lot of people don't really know the relationship of artist and fan right now because a lot of artists are showing their personal lives in detail, and fans are grabbing a hold of that. And when another artist don't do it, they're not as engaged. But the one thing I like about Beyonce and Ho's movement, their movement isn't really a social media movement. It's not their personal lives aren't on display. I respect that. I respect that. And they just giving you art. They just come out, okay, let me give you this album. Let me give you this tour. You can come out and you can get to know me that way. They don't show you behind the scenes of them, just chilling at the crib watching Netflix and different things. So I think that there's a fan base out there for all of us, and I know you're in the field to where the more sensational the story, the greater the interview, So, but me right now, my whole life, like the song Matador on the Success 3, I mentioned my situation with Kanye in the song, and I've also mentioned some other things that's going on in the music industry in that song. I want to kind of leave certain things to my art. I want to leave certain things to the art because a lot of times, man, when you get on here and do these interviews, people in the music industry, trust me, There's a lot of things that go on behind closed doors that you don't want to be on the wrong end of. And when you run your own company and you're trying to push your own artists and this, that, and the third, you got enough resistance as it is. You don't need to be adding no more resistance to what's already out there, and it's already out there. Trust me.
Well, I think that's a life lesson of like, don't like, you know what I mean? Don't make your life harder than it has to be. And like,
Yeah.
you know, there is always a time and place. Maybe it's when you write your book, when you write the tell-all, when you're like the life story of Maddi Madd, behind the music, behind the curtains, all the stories, all the shit. When you're ready to finally let it all out. But you know, I think I really liked and I enjoy talking to you because there's no facade. Like I know you've said you're trying to be careful. You're not trying to get yourself in trouble, but I can see the fight like in your face of like, oh, I could talk about this, but I'm trying to control myself of like
no,
not
it's not really.
it's
Not really. I'm not trying to get in trouble. It's not really. It's not really that. It's just that it's growth as an artist. Is because I watch what fans do to us. You know, with certain information. I watch how they love us today and they hate us tomorrow. You know, I watched that happen. I watched it change lives. I'm like, damn, that's fucked up. Like, and certain people just got a raw deal. The baby got a raw deal. I don't care what nobody said. The baby got a raw deal. I do not like the way things panned out for him. Even though he said some things, yeah, but people say shit all the time. There's been rock artists who done bit the head off of birds on stage and just, you know, come on now. Like what he said, I mean, was it really that bad? Comedians come out and say worse shit than that. I just think that he got a raw deal and he's a talented dude. I don't like the way cancel culture affected the baby. I don't like that. I don't like how it came at Dave Chappelle, even though it wasn't successful, because you know he's his own boss. So you can't cancel him. You can't cancel me. I'm my own boss. I don't answer to no fucking body. So I mean, I say what I want, but I also got to understand that I have other artists I'm responsible for, and I don't want the shit that I do to blow back on them. Like, damn, like okay, we're not gonna support this artist because he, you know, look at the CEO. The CEO is, you know, he, you know what I'm saying? He talks like this or acts like that or whatever. But I'm just trying to be more conscious of the people I'm responsible for. That's really what it is because I run a company. You know, I have a partnership deal with Universal Music Group and Bungalow, so I don't want to, you know, I'm gonna be real and trust me. I said some words on my album that you're not supposed to say. Trust me. I'm still me. But when I get on interviews, sometimes I have to be conscious. I have to be conscious, man, because I can go far. I remember our last interview. I was like, damn, you know, I was talking about beating the hell out of Kanye and all kinds of shit. I was just like, that's my brother. I love him. That is truthfully, if I see him right now today, I wouldn't even. I just want to talk to him, brother. Are you okay? Like, how are you doing? Like, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't even take it there because some shit, man, is just not even worth. It's not even worth it no more. You start seeing what's not worth it. These artists right now, somebody got to start thinking like this. But these artists is dying left and right. I'm talking about left and right. They come out with a song, they dead next week. You know, they do an interview, they dead a couple days later. I'm like, damn, like, we got to do something. We got to do something. So I'm gonna start with myself.
Well, man, I think it's great. Like I said, I think last time, I think it'd be interesting for you and Kanye. I know Kanye's been going through his own journey of like trials and tribulations, and you know, it's weird. I think when you see someone you have had personal issues with, but then you see them go through pain and you see them go through suffering, and you kind of like, I kind of don't want that for anybody. And it's yeah, you become different, and you kind of reflect on your view on things, and you kind of grow as a person. And you know, the growth in you has been incremental, and we can see that in your projects that you're releasing, as we said, Success 3. And I'm always aware that, you know, you and I can probably speak for 3 hours And if we were in person, we could probably do a 3-hour podcast. But
right.
But look, I just want to say once again that I appreciate having you on the show. And it's an absolute pleasure to get you to come back. I can't wait for you to come back again. Hopefully we get to do it in person. And there's a tour at some point. But yeah, man, the new album is awesome. The new single, Bron James, is fire. Like, I listened to it and it is just like hype to no end. But man, is there anything you wanted to plug? Anything you wanted to shout out before we wrap it up?
Yeah. I released Bron James right before Success 3. And I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna fucking do it today. I got my nephew with me. I just looked at him like, I'm not gonna fucking do it. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna talk about Success 3. Success 3 came out and I released I Like. It's kind of like a lead song for the album. I Like is dope. It's like a strip club type of joint. But it has the type of woman that I like. So it pretty much explains, it goes into subject matter and it fits into the album perfectly. Usually a song like that wouldn't fit into one of my albums. So Success 3, definitely get Success 3. Listen to it. It's a real album. You're gonna love it. And stay on the lookout for Swifty Hundo. That's coming out. And I'm gonna be helping my manager Charlucci plug Lucci NYC clothing line too, and Norca One clothing line. So there's a lot of different things that we got our fingers on the pulse of.
Well, I cannot wait to see what else you come up with, man. And as I said, absolute pleasure. We're definitely gonna have to do this again.
Oh yeah, get the merch on MaddiMadd.com. Get the Success 3 hoodie, Success 3 t-shirts, all of that on MaddiMadd.com. Don't forget to get my merch.
And say yes to success.
Yes to success. No to trash.